Hey guys, on this video we are visiting the roaster. Woo! Hey guys, my name is Theo Le Roux and I'm from Cupocafe Coffee Bar. And on this video, we are discussing different roast levels and also hearing from our roaster, Skyline Roasteries, how roasting works and more about roasting. But now just before we jump to the roastery, I have here a few examples. So this of course being a green bean. This, as you can see, slightly lighter roast bean. This is about a medium roast. And then a few of these are dark and a few of these are full roasts. So at the roaster, we'll show you more footage of the different levels of how coffee roasts. Yes, so hope you guys enjoy this next episode. So let's go to the roaster and show you guys more about roasting. Now, as you can see, today we are spending time at the roaster itself. So right now, we are at Skyline Roasteries in Ferndale, Johannesburg, and we are with Marco, our roaster. So all those lovely flavored coffees that you guys always enjoy, his hand roasts all of those beans to perfection. Now today we're gonna just ask Marco a few questions around roasting so that we can just kind of expand on your education in understanding different roasts, different beans, and of course, what this machine does. So, Marco, so happy that we can spend the day here, man.
Pleasure, man. Good to have you guys here.
Always great to come through to you and see what type of things you're going to do with the coffee next, so that obviously we can satisfy their taste buds.
Yeah, exactly.
So, first off, I say quite a bit on roastery, but I'm not a roaster. So therefore, I want the expert to tell us a bit more in depth, because you guys want to know, what exactly is roasting?
Well, roasting, guys, is pretty much taking a agricultural product, which is coffee. Coffee really, at the end of the day, is a fruit. All right, so it starts off as a cherry, and the coffee itself is actually the seed of that cherry. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're taking that raw product, the actual seed of that cherry, and taking it and putting it in our big oven or our big roaster, all right, and basically cooking that coffee to a certain level where it's able to be enjoyed, as you guys usually know, from at a coffee shop or at home. And that's all pretty much what we do.
Excellent. Now, just so that they understand slightly better, because I always use the words, roasting this, roasting that, and the bean does this and the bean does that. Explain maybe to us exactly what happens when we roast an actual green coffee bean.
Yeah. So essentially, it's always a good way to think about it in your kitchen in terms of how we cook it. Because cooking or roasting coffee and cooking a steak in an oven or on a pan is actually very similar. So the initial process is dropping the green beans inside the coffee roaster, and inside this big piece of metal over here, inside is basically just a big round drum that just spins at a certain rotation speed. Underneath that drum is a heat source, which is basically a lineup of gas that's heating up this drum. So initially, the initial portion is really what we call conductive energy, or heating up via conductive method. So conductive method is the same as cooking a steak on a pan. Yeah. So conductive energy is the energy of touch. So if you can just imagine taking a nice big thick steak, putting it on a hot pan, obviously you're going to get some cooking happening on the outside. So that's how we start. That's the initial process. So what we call, it's an endothermic process. So the beans are busy taking in heat.
Correct.
Yeah. And at a certain time and a certain velocity, very important. Yeah. So you want those beans to be pulling in that energy as much as possible for the first half of the roast. After that, the beans start to expand, right? And then we start playing more with convection energy, right? So we start pushing more air, more hot air through the system, and that helps to cook then the inside of the bean. So your oven is convection energy, yeah?
So almost similar to a conventional oven. So it looks like a microwave, but it actually has a heat source from the outside as well. So it cooks outside and from inside out.
Correct. So it starts off endothermic, so the beans start taking in the heat, and at a certain level, the beans start to release heat. So if you guys ever heard of something called first crack, so that happens towards the end of the roast where it actually sounds like popcorn popping inside the machine. So those are the beans that have expanded to a certain point, and then they're popped. Yeah, so now they're releasing energy. Yeah, so that's the second half of the roast. So that whole part of the initial endothermic, exothermic heat application, moving from conduction to convection, is quite a process, and you have to really keep an eye on at what stages in terms of time and heat does this happen to get the certain flavors that you're looking for.
Yes, now you guys see why I stick to just tasting and explaining to you guys what I taste. Because all of this would just be way too much information for this poor brain. I'll probably one day come and spend some more time here to learn more about the roasting, so that when we're at the shop doing coffee tastings, that I can go into a bit more of that depth information. But now, I use the words quite a lot: light roast, medium roast, and dark roast. Now, my favorite, light to light medium, on certain coffees, medium roast. Can you maybe give a slightly more depth explanation and definition of what a light roast, a medium roast, and a dark roast is out of a roaster's perspective?
Yeah, so essentially these words of light roast, medium roast, dark roast is the time after first crack. So before first crack, you cannot enjoy that coffee. Yeah, it's still developing, it's still cooking, but after first crack, that's what we call the development time really starts to happen. And this is where you can slowly modulate the different flavors that you're looking for. All right, so after first crack, we start a time, we know, okay, now we're going to see how much time from first crack until the end when we actually release the coffee from the machine. And for your medium roast, you're looking for around about a minute after first crack, or the start of first crack. Yeah, so the machine, it's still popping, so you still actually hear the popping sounds. After about a minute, then you release it. So the color of the coffee will be pretty light.
Correct.
Yeah. So what you mostly find out of this is really the inherent natural coffee flavors of the coffee itself.
Nice characteristics, elements, flavors, like that lovely Latin dance type of style that I always talk of, on my tongue. That's my favorite type.
So just imagine, it's depending where you are in the world, it's really down to preference. Yeah. So if you enjoy a coffee that's quite vibrant, quite a lot of acidity, sort of nice, sort of just unripe sort of fruit flavors, that's going to be for you. Yeah. So just imagine, again, it's because coffee is a fruit at the end of the day.
Correct.
You can relate a lot of the talk that we're mentioning to fruit. So just imagine picking off a unripe plum off the tree and tasting that.
Taking a bite.
A lot of people will say, oh, it's not sweet enough. It still has a little bit of sourness and
that little tinge of bitterness coming through as well.
It's quite like it's like a little bit funky. That's sort of like a light roast, but some people enjoy that.
Correct.
Like, for example, I know my wife enjoys unripe plums.
Oh.
She likes lemons. She likes that type of flavor profile. She's not a sweet tooth at all.
That's me.
So if you enjoy that, then you're a light roast drinker.
Okay.
As we start to go deeper in the roast, that acidity starts to slowly disappear. Yeah. So medium roast is a perfect balance between starting to get some of that sweetness, some of that body, but still having that acidity there in the background.
Just a little bit, just twinkling on the back.
Correct, it's there. So it's a nice overall crowd pleaser roast. That's why medium roast for most people is going to be the one they go for.
Correct.
As you start to go darker, that's when a lot of that starts to disappear, and you get more of the sort of, tobacco roastiness sort of type of flavor profile. Yeah. The body also starts to increase, so it's quite syrupy, quite thick.
Yes.
But a lot of these interesting flavors do disappear. But for example, for an espresso-based drinker, that's probably what they're looking for, right? They want something that's quite intense, thick body.
Big body.
Correct. Yeah. But maybe as a filter coffee or as a brewed coffee, it can have a lot of sort of bitter aftertaste. And that's not the coffee, that's the roast.
Correct.
That's basically, again, like cooking a steak, having that
And
charred,
leaving it for too long, yes.
having that charred on the outside, that's essentially what you
And as I normally say to you guys, the thing with the dark roast is it creates like a sandpaper type of texture in the back of your throat. So it's very rough, very hard. But if you're into that, then that's what you're into. Now you all know that my wife Melissa is huge into that, and that's why she prefers the darker roast with that body in the background.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more punchy. So for milk-based drinkers, they like to have some milk with their coffee. That's usually a good combination.
Correct. Cappuccino drinkers and so on.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you add a little bit of milk, even though you're diluting the coffee, there's enough of that intense flavor that you're still gonna have coffee flavored in your drink.
It covers that roughness a bit when you add some sugar or milk or whatever. So it soothes out.
So that's what people like to do. Dark roast tend to have more sugar in their coffee.
That's it.
Because they need to balance out that bitterness, roastiness. Yeah. But sometimes they can actually work out quite nice. So if you enjoy your sugar in your coffee,
go
I
dark.
think a nice, a little bit darker,
Definitely.
a little bit of the sugar balances it out.
That's what it
If
comes
you
down
want
to.
natural sweetness and you want to cut down on your sugar in your coffee, go for the medium lighter roast because it will have that natural sweetness from the coffee that's there.
Correct. More my type of palate. Now, obviously, we're at Skyline Roasteries. You guys can check them out on Instagram. You can check them out on Facebook. Do go and give them a follow. And while we're here, we might as well hear from Marco. Marco, what is your favorite roast? And what is your favorite type of single origin? And precisely why?
I do gravitate a lot more to the African coffees.
Beautiful.
Alright, so for me, definitely a Kenyan or an Ethiopian is sort of my preferred sort of coffee. I used to be an espresso drinker, so cappuccinos, lattes, but as you start to experiment with more and more coffees, you notice that a nice sort of light to medium blend or even a medium roast, you just pick up a lot more flavor of the coffee. So you can actually identify, okay, I can clearly pick up these flavors, and I just enjoy that. Yeah, so a nice medium roast of an African coffee. African coffees just have a lot more vibrancy.
Yeah,
there's more,
so much more lively, and
there's more happening.
it's like a V12 engine, just putting the foot down. And it's like, I like it.
People gravitate. People getting into coffee, they usually start with the more safe options. The nice,
Neutral,
mellow
medium,
flavors.
darkish.
But then it starts getting boring.
Of course.
It gets boring.
Because it's kind of a neutral, numb flavor.
So you taste
every single cup.
Exactly. So then you start to gravitate to these more funky flavors, and then you just want more and more interesting flavors. And I think that's what will happen to most people.
I think so
gravitate
too.
towards these more interesting coffee flavors.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Marco. So much information in such a small speck of time. But we really appreciate the fact that you obviously look after our coffee so that our client base, the Cupo fans, can really enjoy every single cup. So there you guys have it. That is Marco explaining to us what roasting is, how a roaster works, and of course, the whole list of levels of different types of roasts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please do remember that we make these videos so that you could love coffee more and hopefully drink more coffee. Give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please, if you'd be so kind, give us a thumbs up because YouTube appreciates it. And if you have not seen most of our videos, do go and check them out. And if you like our videos, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notifications bell as well so you can get notified for other uploads. And we'll see you guys on the next video.